Yo, welcome to another episode of Unnamed Sports Show right here on Gorilla Cross, broadcast live from downtown Las Vegas in the Gorilla Cross studio. I'm your host, Quan59, and we have a lot to talk about today in sports. But first, with me, my guest co-host from Into the West Comics, Frank Pina in the building. How you feeling?
I'm good. Right now, I'm researching the difference between Toradol and Tramadol.
Yeah, there's a big
Toradol
difference.
and Tramadol.
Toradol and Tramadol.
Yep.
And Tramadol sounds a little scary.
Yeah.
Sounds like something from a horror movie, a Tramadol. And we have, it's been a while since he's been on Unnamed, but he's on Speak Life with us a lot. Got Kels in the building.
Yes, sir. Back like I never left.
Yeah, wearing the Laker. That's a dope color for a Laker hat.
That's literally why I bought it. I saw it and was like,
That
this is
dope.
a nice color.
And it matches the shirt a little bit.
Yeah, there's only very little LeBron on here. I mean, Laker LeBron.
Very little LeBron?
Very little Laker LeBron. There's a lot of LeBron.
Oh, so Bronny
is
on there.
Oh, yeah. Bronny's in the background somewhere for sure. And then there's just the GOAT everywhere.
Okay.
And,
There you go. Listen, if you're watching live, please share the live video stream with your people. We appreciate it. Comment or leave a comment and let us know where you're watching from, what city, state. If you're watching in Las Vegas, let us know what room you're in your house. If that's the kitchen, the bathroom, the bedroom, wherever you're watching us. Just don't be weird about it.
my favorite places to watch is the bathroom.
Please
sure.
like and subscribe to the channel. And when you have your phone in the bathroom with you, this is and most people are going to lie about this answer. Do you wash your phone off after you're scrolling through, after you just, handle business for 25 minutes?
Absolutely not.
Wow. I definitely do.
You wash your phone?
Yeah, I wash my phone off. You're splashing. It's splashing up. Your hands are dirty.
What are you doing?
When you're taking a dump?
How are you sitting? That you feel like it's coming up through the toilet? You say wide leg?
Listen, man.
Did you build your own toilet?
So you guys don't wash your phone off?
Nah, man.
No, I don't even wash my hands.
You probably don't. You probably don't.
I was just going to say, as long as you wash your hands, you're good. And then he hit us with that. So.
You wash your hands and then you touch a dirty phone.
Is your phone dirty if your hands are always clean, though? That's like, why even wash your towels?
Are your hands clean if you just wiped? Those particles get on you.
So I use wet wipes. So, I use flushable wipes.
So you don't think the particles...
Nah, man.
Wow.
I think it's all about technique. I think, if you're wiping...
Technique.
If you're wiping front to back like you're supposed to, you got a good amount of hand covered. Whether you're using toilet paper or wipes, I think that you prevent a lot of splashage and excess poo particles. Yeah.
All right. Well, that has been Pooh Bear Care by Kels. How to handle your sticky situations.
Wow.
But there is a lot to talk about in sports. Once again, subscribe to the channel. I've been stuck on the Unnamed Sports Show channel on 1,100 subscribers, like 1100 for like a month.
Wow.
Not 1095, just 1100, which is really weird.
It's also a good number, though.
It's a good number. But it's just weird that we haven't got one new or subscriber, or we have got a new one and an old one leaves, or we get 5 new ones and 5 old ones leave. I don't know what's going on, but we need everybody to subscribe to the channel. We are doing a lot more on the channel, so make sure you do that for us. All right, we're going to get right into it because news broke this afternoon that Victor Wembanyama is going to be out for the season with a blood clot, and I meant to get my what the blood clot tag on here, and I forgot. But very weird. That's a young age to be dealing with a blood clot, and sometimes when you deal with them, you deal with them for a longer period of time, and they come back and stuff like that. What are you guys' thoughts on this? This was surprising news. He was up for Defensive Player of the Year. He would have won it. You have to play at least 65 games now to get any NBA awards.
Yeah.
To be on the all-NBA team, all-defensive team, because too many people are sitting out playing 50 games, winning Defensive Player of the Year awards and stuff like that. So they made that rule up about 2 years ago. I think last year might have been the first year, where you have to play a certain amount of games to even be able to get these awards.
65 games, right?
65 games. And with that, you're getting bonuses that plays into your Supermax contracts that you can extend and sign and stuff like that. So, and obviously, like, his health is most important, but, they said he should be healthy by this time next year. But Chris Bosh, the same thing happened. That's basically why he retired.
That was the thing that shortened his career, obviously. It stopped him from playing. They think that it's more along the lines of Brandon Ingram's blood clot situation.
Okay.
So it is very treatable. And like you said, it could be a while before he's playing.
And blood clots matter, too, of where the blood clots actually at.
Absolutely. Because the circulation is just...
Because his was on his shoulder or something like that.
Yep.
So.
In the
it's
shoulder.
on your neck or like near your brain area or heart area. It's a little more
spinal.
Bosh it was stuff that was going to his heart,
Yeah.
so they were very cautious about treating it. I think Ingram's might have been a leg thing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And speaking of leg things, LeVar Ball got his foot cut off yesterday. That's not a topic, but he got his foot amputated.
I had no idea.
LeVar Ball, yeah.
Oh wow.
He was he was smiling, but I'm not sure how long he knew that was going to have to happen. But yeah, we'll talk about that on Monday. But what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think that I feel like there's so many symptoms that lead up to that. Like, where was the conversation beforehand? They always treated Wemby like he was just like going to be the one big guy over 7 foot that was going to stay healthy. They never mentioned anything. There's supposed to be like consistent swelling and things like that when you have those blood clot issues. So I'm just curious of like why there hasn't been any conversation around it. That's kind of interesting. But at the same time, I don't think it hurts the Spurs this season, right? Like, what are they? 12th in the West, so
Something
I think
like that,
I think they were making some changes, and it sucks because this was their period to kind of get that mesh and mold together. They get those players on the same lineup, and then who knows if we're going to get any more CP3 after this. So there's a lot of changes that are going to happen to the Spurs, but as far as winning or not, that wasn't going to change much. So if he can get healthy and get back, he's still young and it's early, and take care of it. If it's more along the lines of Brandon Ingram, we'll see him come back just as strong as ever, especially depending on what shoulder it is. He can still get some shots up. He'll be all right.
I think the biggest thing about it is how they go about treating it is in relationship to its altitude. As they travel, they have to fly, and it puts a different. It's the thinning of the blood and how your blood is able to flow correctly and healthy throughout the body. He is a young guy, so they're going to do everything they can to make sure that he's good. But again, it's a time issue that they've got to make sure that he's okay to go before he gets on a plane.
Yeah, and even right now for the team, it's not like they were top 3 in the West. They were, I think they're 4 games out of the play-in right now. 3.5 games out of the play-in. Right. So it's not like they were on a hunt to get to the playoffs anyway. So I think as a team, this isn't really going to affect them that much of what they were planning on doing this year.
No, I don't think
Even if Chris Paul doesn't come back next year, which, he could, he might not.
Yeah.
That wasn't going to be a big deal anyways. He's only there for a season or two to, be a coach and a veteran on that team anyways. He's not a priority, but as long as he's healthy coming out next year, it's going to be fine, right? Like you said, if it's same thing as Brandon Ingram, he's been fine. He's obviously dealt with other injuries and can't stay healthy in other areas. But yeah, with that being said, I mean, I think it's good that they found whatever it is early.
Yeah.
Because he had been complaining about like coming back from All-Star game that there was like some pain, and that's how they found that there was blood clot. So it could have been where there was no other symptoms.
As far as I know, is
that
the blood clot thing hasn't been an issue going forward with Ingram. So there's obviously a ton of different treatments that they could approach. So it's good that they've caught this and then they're able to address it. And when I saw it this morning, I think I was texting you and I said he's out for the season, and I hadn't seen what it was. And I think they put it first as an injury. And I said he hurt himself in practice. He was in a game. I said they didn't play yesterday. There was only one game. Right. They've been on the break. Yeah. So I was like, what happened to whatever? And it was like, oh, no, you're starting to read into it. It was like a blood clot, a deep vein thrombosis. That's something that affects older people usually. Ooh. So it's that made everybody kind of like, whoa, what's going on?
And Kel's brought that up a little bit. We talk about these big men that are like, let's face it, overly grown. That's not a normal size for somebody to be. He's close to 7'4", right? Maybe 7'5". I mean,
he's big.
He's had different heights, and he's pretty skinny, and we've seen that.
Yeah.
Yao Ming was supposed to dominate the league for a long time. He did for a few years, but he was too big to carry his weight.
Feet issues, right?
Feet issues. George Mirasan, I mean, he was 7'6". He wasn't super talented, obviously like Wemby or anything like that. But we do look at these big men and wonder how long they could last. Because even Shaq at 7'1", obviously not keeping himself in his weight off.
Yeah,
that definitely affected him. And his career probably could have lasted longer if he would have taken care of his body. But being that big, it's hard to take care of. I'm 5'10".
Yeah.
And trying to cut 20 pounds off of 5'10" could be hard enough.
Yeah.
Trying to cut 50 pounds off of, 7'2", 7'4" is a lot. So that is interesting that you brought that point up, because I wasn't really looking at that, but they're looking at him as the face of the future of this league.
Yeah.
With a handful of other
Not
people,
just the
but he's
Spurs,
like one
the
of the
whole league.
faces of the league.
Yeah.
And is he going to be around long enough to be the face of a league,
Yeah.
We'll see. Hopefully this is a one-time instance and you can move on from it and stay healthy after that. But with big men, they do face multiple types of injuries being that big.
Yeah, we play fantasy basketball, and I had second pick this year. And honestly, I was like, if my guy grabs Wemby, I'm good, because I'll grab Jokic. And my thought process is like, honestly, we don't even know if he's gonna make it through the season. And I think that we had that conversation as a group, my friend group. We're just like, but like we're seeing him do all these things, but it's all on limited minutes. And then when we start seeing him play more, when it's crunch time, is he really gonna be able to perform at that high level and not tweak a knee or anything like that because he's so big? And I'm glad. I'm like, he literally dude's first place in our fantasy league right now. He's about to drop.
He's like, I'm glad
he's cooked.
So you're glad he got a blood clot for your fantasy league?
No.
Is what you're saying?
No, that's not what I said.
Mark it down.
Nope, I'm not.
Clip it.
Nope, I did not say that. All prayers for Wemby. Get better, buddy.
But you want to win your fantasy league.
But I want to win the fantasy league.
Sure.
Fantasy basketball is hard. I tried to do it a couple times. I just couldn't last like even halfway through the season.
Everybody says that.
It's hard keeping up.
Yeah, I feel like most guys set their lineup for the week still, and a lot happens, a lot changes. But you got so many guys. It's not like football. You got a bunch of guys playing. So if one guy misses a game or you bench him and he doesn't play, it doesn't hurt you.
But that was the problem with the NBA. Like NFL, if they're missing the game or not, right?
Yeah.
And it's only 1 week.
Yeah.
Or one game a week. With
Nothing
the NBA,
kills you like fantasy baseball, though.
With the NBA,
Oh my gosh.
like players were dropping out 2 hours before the game. And I don't have time. Like I worked. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have time to like.
We did a fantasy basketball.
We
league
might have on YouTube on Yahoo, long time ago.
a while ago. Yeah, but we did not keep up with it. But
No,
the
no,
All-Star
I don't think
break, it
anybody's
was
over.
over.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, after COVID, it was a wrap. You started seeing those COVID injuries so bad, and then since then, it's never recovered. There's a lot of injuries that just come left and right. But I usually wake up, I set my lineup in the morning, and I'm good.
Yeah.
What happens, happens.
Nice.
So basically, what Kels is saying is he's blaming all those injuries on the vaccine and the boosters.
That you can quote me. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't say that. I got to.
Let us know your thoughts in the comments about Victor Wembanyama and how you think that's going to affect him for the future. Luka played his third game yesterday, and I'm actually going to play a highlight from that game because there was a pretty crazy highlight. Let me pull that up. Tani said hello.
Tani?
Yeah.
Oh, hi. It's Tani.
I don't know if she's your friend.
If it's Tani.
She just commented and said,
Stassi.
tell Kels I said hi.
Oh, if it's Tani, that I think it's Tani.
He
Then
said, oh,
that's love. Hi, Tani. What's up?
what's up? All right,
Good
last
friend.
night, let me pull this up real quick. Last night, Lakers played. It's still supposed to be All-Star break, but Lakers played because of the wildfires. They had to make up the game. And LeBron dunked on one of his former teammates, so we're going to get into that right now.
Bad.
Really bad.
Contested. He hasn't been very good. LeBron! Look out!
Gross.
Look out!
This guy's 40 years old, folks.
Wow. Oh, Mark Williams takes it right at. Look at this. Throw it back and throw it.
And the comment said he got rescinded twice because that's Mark Williams who got traded to the Lakers. Trade got rescinded by the Lakers and so I hadn't watched Mark Williams too much because I don't watch Charlotte games that much. Which they actually have good players. They shouldn't be as bad as they are.
Yeah.
Because they have a really good starting five, I think. They don't have a lot of a bench, and I think that's an issue. But and then LaMelo can't really stay healthy either. That's another.
He's got a lot of injury problems.
Yeah. But with Mark Williams, I'm watching him, and I'm like, yeah, we would. I think Lakers watch more tape on him and realize that he has good moments in games.
Yeah.
But he might not necessarily be that good. And I think Lakers use an excuse because they gave up a lot to get him. And I think they realized, let's not jump the gun. We don't have to build a team to win for this year and right now. And we could probably get a lot more for what we're giving up this summer. So I think they saw some of the injury stuff that he's dealing with and some of the things he's dealt with in the past. And, he's good, but there's a lot of, I was watching a lot of his mistakes and things he doesn't do good.
Yeah.
Not saying he's not a smart basketball player, but there are some things as somebody you'd want for your starting center for the next 5 or 10 years that he doesn't necessarily do right and isn't that much better than Jackson Hayes, who Lakers already have.
True.
He's a more athletic and a little bit bigger Jackson Hayes to me.
Yeah.
And their stats were almost the same last night, too. So,
yeah.
With that, Luka's third game, he finally played 33 minutes. All the other games, I think he had 22 and 24 minutes.
Maybe pulling the minutes restriction off.
Yeah, struggling a little bit, still getting back in shape. People are over-dramatizing it because they lost to the Hornets last night, which is one of the worst teams in the league.
Yeah.
They still should have won, but at the same time, you're coming off All-Star break. You're playing a game before you're supposed to be playing because All-Star break's not even supposed to break until tonight. So you're playing a game before. You're not really into it. Even that game in Utah, Lakers never play good the last game of All-Star break. Most teams don't.
Yeah.
You're already checked out, right?
Looking ahead.
So the very first game they played, they looked really good together. Now it's you have to get Luka into the system. He doesn't even know the plays yet. It's going to take a while to get that. But out of the first 3 games, how do you think he's looked? LeBron took 3 shots last night at the end. Luka didn't touch the ball. Is that going to be an issue? Is that something they need to figure out? Because LeBron made a 3 to take him down by 1 and then missed 2 threes that would have tied the game.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about this so far, Kels?
I think that the most important thing is that Luka looks like he's much happier. I think that plays a big factor in what it's going to look like in the next couple of weeks. Luka has been enjoying himself, obviously playing with Dallas. You see him look frustrated. You see him looking like, okay, are we going to get it together? Feeling like he's carrying the load. And I feel like we've gotten that version of Luka for the last couple of years and just how he's felt in general. I don't think he was unhappy in Dallas, but it's just kind of crazy to see him be in a situation where he's happy to move the ball, and the more comfortable he gets, the better it's going to look for the Lakers. I absolutely think he should have took one of those last 2 shots. LeBron being LeBron, if he felt it, he felt it. But I think that Luka should have got the rock. Situationally, LeBron is good to move the ball too, so it probably just ended up being like the shots that LeBron took felt better or look better. And I trust LeBron's IQ enough to know that it wasn't like a selfish thing. So those situations will open up, and people will be a little bit more open minded to the fact that when the situation plays, LeBron's going to make the right decision. If it ends up in Luka's hands, great. If it ends up in LeBron's hands, great. I don't think it's anything we have to worry about. I think as Luka kind of just gets more comfortable, learns how to spread the floor a little bit more, if they start having players like Jackson Hayes demand a little bit more attention down low for the cutting lobs and things like that, we'll see a big significant difference in open shots too.
Now LeBron's 40 and he should be willing to pass the torch right now, but rumors were he was trying to pass the torch to AD for a long time and it didn't happen. So do you think he can really pass the torch at the level he's playing?
I think this is the big question, right? I mean, they're sort of figuring it out. It's kind of like on-the-job training. It's like an internship, I guess, for the mantle of running the Lakers. We don't know how much longer LeBron's going to play. people are assuming he's going to come back and play again next year. I mean, we're assuming that, right?
Yeah.
That he'd want a full year.
Yeah.
A full offseason and a full year.
I think
full
we for sure
training
get him
camp.
at least one more
I
year.
think so too. I think that Luka is in the right headspace right now. I have these flashbacks about them making the run when they went to the finals last year, and you know, Mike Finley taking the beer away from him, you know, when they're celebrating, and just the body language and everything. His approach is going to be different, I think, by spending time around LeBron. They have high basketball IQs. This is going to take time to figure out, and I think that as they go along, you know, I don't think they're going to be winning a title this year, but I think that they're going to make a run to where they get through a series, maybe two,
And they see who they are.
and they kind of figure out who they are as they go. And, you know, there could be some pieces and some moves in the offseason, because this is not the finished product, I think, of a Luka and LeBron pairing with the Lakers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think people overreact way too much when trades like this happen, because the same thing happened when Kyrie got traded to Dallas, and they were tripping out and saying it's not going to work. Look, they don't know. Of course, you never know what you're doing. When you go to a new job yourself, you don't know what you're doing, and you're it's just fries and burgers, bro. So don't complain about NBA players not knowing exactly where to be on the floor when they have been there for a week during All-Star break, coming off an injury. Where he was out for almost 2 months with that injury. Like, it is going to take time. I really don't think it's going to take as much time as people think.
I don't either.
And I think they can make a lot of noise in the finals. If they avoid Denver in the first 2 rounds, they could go to the Western Conference Finals.
Absolutely.
I'm not
Sure they
worried about Houston for them at all.
No.
I'm not really worried about Memphis for them at all.
No.
Even though they are big. Lakers signed Alex Len. I think there was a lot of free agents they could have signed besides Alex Len. I'm not sure who his agent is and all that. It was a weird signing to me because he's not really a defensive center anyways. He is a big body. So maybe they just need a big body to bang with Jokic. That's pretty much it. But I think there was other like 7-footers out there that would have been better. But anyways, it's only for the next 3 or 4 months. But I think if they can avoid Denver, they can not just get to the Western Conference Finals. But if this clicks as soon as I think it can and will, I think you could see Lakers in the finals. It wouldn't blow my mind that they make the finals.
Not at all.
You have LeBron, you have Luka, 2 guys that have been to the finals. Luka took a very young team to the finals. He had Kyrie with him, who has been there too.
Yeah.
Kyrie's not LeBron, even at this stage in LeBron's career. This is a different beast right here.
Yeah, I was even going to say, I think that Luka undoubtedly knows he's a better player than Kyrie. So there's mentally that place where you have to be where you're like, okay, how do I take the back seat to a player, take some of the load off of me with this guy who is a great basketball player, but like, how do I fit with this? And I don't think that's the same mentality on the Lakers. I think he knows that right now I'm learning from one of the greatest players to ever touch a basketball. And if that means, you know what I mean, I don't get the last shot every couple, possessions, and that's fine. I think he also has no problem knowing that he's better than LeBron right now, but has to be able to take a step back to the mentality. So I think that Luka is going to perform at a level where it's like, what do you guys need from me? Which we never got that from him in Dallas, which is why it took so long for him and Kyrie to start meshing it all. It's like, what does Kyrie need to do to fit in? And Kyrie never tries to fit in the first place. So I think that just the mentality around it's different. And then I agree with you. I think that finals is very possible. You got players like Reeves coming out of their shell, having great games. You got Dalton Connect that they were about to trade away, but you got him back. You know what I mean? And he's a big 10-point a game guy who's going to do it consistently and efficiently, and that's wonderful to see.
And we've seen him drop 20 in a quarter before in preseason and a game in the regular season where if he gets hot from 3,
it's a wrap.
And if he gets that confidence shooting from 3, because right now he's not confident either because he got traded and now he's back. So, but with a shooter like that playing with LeBron and Luka,
those are the guys that it helps.
Yeah,
having Luka and LeBron on the court is Rui and Reeves and Connect. It's going to help guys like that. The only the minor pushback I would give, because I mean we're all Laker fans, so I'm just trying to play the other side of this. The issue that I think is that Dallas team last year played really good defense, and in some stretches of games in series when you have the younger athletic guys that are making shots that could have home court. how do you respond to that to kind of match their pace is what the only concern I would have about that. And that's why I'd say they most likely wouldn't get to the finals.
Yeah.
Just because of the lack of interior defense and everything else.
OKC looks scary, so that's a good point. Like when you see a team like that on the West that can move, still take efficient shots in a half court setting, but really get the ball up the court if they have to. Like that's kind of scary.
And SGA is more confident by the day.
Definitely.
But every time he touches the ball,
I think all the players are. I think all those young guys are. They got Chet Holmgren back.
Oh yeah.
So they're going to be tough to deal with for sure. Yeah. But it's still not a team I'm like scared of where Lakers can't beat them.
Right.
I think
LeBron's not scared of playing anyone.
Denver's the only team they're scared of.
Yeah.
And now without AD, like they were lighting them up with AD, what's going to be like with Jackson Hayes and Alex Len trying to guard Jokic. So if you can avoid them, and if Denver loses to somebody else before that, then you have a good chance of getting in. Right now, Lakers are at 5.
Where's Denver? 3?
Denver's 3 right now. Lakers are 3 games behind Denver for the 3. Memphis is at 2, only a game or half game above Denver.
They play Saturday.
Houston's been losing a little bit. They've fallen down to 4, which they were 2 for a long time. And Houston's a team low key that I could see dropping out of the playoffs and into the play-in because they are a very young team. They have really good young players, but I think they might fall out a little more. And then Clippers, they made some good moves, but I still don't see them being a team that I would be scared of in the playoffs. Kawhi's not playing all the playoffs, guys.
No.
Like he could be healthy the rest of the regular season. He is. He played like 4 games. But you can't trust Kawhi. And low key, James Harden is having a great season over there at Intuit Dome that people haven't really been recognizing because Clippers aren't doing that great and they've went through so many changes, but he's having a really good year so far.
It's classic James Harden, though. He can be doing great by himself all the time, and he's always needed that support. We're in that era where you got 2 to 3 superstars on every team, or all-stars at least on every team, and he's having a great season, but then the people that he needs around him is not showing up, so that's pretty classic James Harden. But that's also why I think the Houston Rockets will fall out for sure and end up being a playing team because, one, Jalen Green is the most inconsistent shooting guard that we've seen ever. In the history of the game of basketball.
There's a lot of inconsistent shooting guards.
But it's crazy because he was one of those kids I watched in high school, and I just thought he was going to be incredible in the league, and he just isn't. And he has glimpses. He has like moments where you're like, man, this guy's amazing, and then he just doesn't pull through. Yeah. And then you got such a great center on that team with Sengun, and
really good.
I just think that they have potential, but the lack of consistency is just going to make them a tough team to even consider competitors later.
There's a lot of guys on this Houston team that people just don't know that are really good. Most people don't know who Sengun is.
Yeah.
And if you don't watch Houston, you don't know how good he is. You're like, how do you get in the All-Star game? How is he one of those guys right there?
Yeah.
But they have a really good young team, but I think this is a team that's too young to make any noise at all in the playoffs. I think they're out in the first round.
They can, and we're speaking again about the Denver and the Lakers potentially, competing for a 3 or 4 seed. They're going to play Denver 3 times before the season's over. The last week of the season, they play OKC twice.
Oh.
So
which
it's kind
is
of
good
like your measuring
that's going to be a
stick
good
see,
test.
You get to find out what you're like. Yeah,
for sure.
I think it's a home and home.
Yeah.
That's even better.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. Another team that we have been talking about in the East that made some moves. Got Kyle Kuzma. Traded Chris Middleton. And then Bobby Portis, they're probably their 6th man, right? I mean, I think he's one of the first people off the bench. Suspended 25 games, took a banned substance. Frank, what are those substances?
So the kind of the breakdown of why the stuff is banned. There's Toradol, which is it reduces inflammation and it's a pain reliever. And then there's
that one's not banned.
That is not banned, and it's approved by the USAID Council, the NSAID. And then the Tramadol, which is an opioid, and they both can address chronic pain. The thing is that Tramadol is habit forming.
Oh, so that's why it's banned.
It is potentially a substance where you could create an abuse type situation, and they think that you're at risk for dependence on that substance.
Wow.
So
it's banned for your own good.
Yes,
It's not banned. And that's the thing. People see like banned, like, well, how's that going to help him? Not every banned drug is for performance enhancing.
Right.
It's for not getting addicted.
They give Toradol to football players when they have joint dislocation, and it's a shot. They don't give you like, here's a prescription to Toradol type of thing, because you'd be out on the ground like a horse tranquilizer. Wow. I don't think I don't think we could pound Bud Light and Budweisers or some Trulies and any of this stuff.
Yeah,
probably
I
not.
don't drink Trulies, but I want everyone. I know this is the internet. This is how people do things on the internet these days. You react to one thing and you just have your whole story off one headline.
Yeah.
Instead of looking what it was, and there could be more. He's suspended 25 games, which is a little, or 25 game, like I have it on the graphic.
25 game suspended.
But 25 games is a lot for a first-time offense. But it is in the rules. But could it have been more? I mean, what? I don't know. It's just a little weird that it's so many games so quick on something that is so similar to another drug that isn't banned. And his manager or agent even said it was a mix-up.
Yep. It treats arthritis and it treats nerve pain too.
Yeah.
So
it's a little extreme to me that
it's
he
a
gets
gray
25
area games for that. And again,
the good thing with that, there's about a little over 25 games left in the season.
Yeah.
So he'll be able to come back with probably 3 or 4 games in the season and still play in the playoffs. So that is a good thing. I mean, maybe. But at least he gets to come back for the playoffs, because if he was suspended and it leaked into the playoffs, it'd be a little more drastic. But yeah, that's a lot.
Quan, they're fifth now, 29-24. Okay. Miami is, ninth, obviously just on the outside looking in. They're 25-28. Chicago's 22-33. I don't think Chicago would necessarily catch them or overtake them, but Milwaukee could fall back to that pack of 7 through 9.
Chicago's not trying to be where they're at right now.
Yeah.
They're definitely trying to go way lower.
Sure, they're going to.
They just trading other players,
and then
tanking.
And then Philadelphia. This is the biggest question mark in the NBA forever. It's
100%.
But it's a process. So
you have Orlando at 7,
it.
Atlanta at 8.
We're also
they could fall out. I mean, it's not. But it is a role player. I mean, it's not like it's Giannis. If it was Giannis, we'd be a little more worried. But they are an up and down team.
Yeah.
And we've talked about it. Like, Giannis needs something to happen. They made the Dame trade that didn't go as planned. Giannis has basically given them ultimatums a little bit. Like, we have to improve to be contenders every year.
Yeah.
And by contenders, that's usually top 3 in the conference every year.
Yeah.
You should be getting to at least the Eastern Conference Finals every year to be a contender, or at least close to that, and make a couple of finals appearances. And he made that remark when Luka got traded to the Lakers, that he wants to see Jokic in New York and all these European players in the big markets. He was laughing about it, but someone that smart that's trying to make moves is not just saying that to say it.
Yeah.
Do you see him possibly asking for a trade this summer if they go out in the first or second round? Kales.
Yeah, I think that it really depends on, like you said, how they play for the rest of the season. I honestly don't think Bobby Portis being out is going to hurt them as much as we think. I think that he's a great role player, but he's kind of an undersized center. He's kind of like a center that plays like a strong power forward. Yeah. And I think that they can kind of just adapt that with Kuz, having Kyle Kuzma there now. And even Taurean Prince being there, like players like that, I think that they can fit into a role. Only problem is that their true center, like Brook Lopez, he needs a lot of breaks, you know what I mean? So that's really the issue there. But I don't think that they're going to drop the way we think they are or not be okay for the rest of the season. And if they play well and they figure out how to utilize these new players, I think Giannis is going to stick it out. And also, if he sees any potential, if he sees like glimpses of, these new added pieces helping it be easier in the long run, knowing that it's the end of the season, do we get enough time together where we can kind of build something around this? Okay, maybe we'll figure it out next year. I know it seems like he's going to get out of that we'll figure it out next year mentality, but moves at least have been made.
Yeah, I don't think those are the moves that he was talking about. I think we know who Kyle Kuzma is as a basketball player. I don't think Kyle Kuzma shook Giannis. I think Giannis looks at that more like that's a joke. You traded Chris Middleton for
Kuzma
Kyle
is a fashion icon, Quan.
in Milwaukee. I mean, how is that going to fly in Milwaukee, Wisconsin?
Middleton was out every season.
No, he was hurt a lot. I understand that.
season.
I understand you had to get rid of him and you weren't going to be able to get a lot for Chris Middleton at this point of his career. But he had come back and he'd been playing good. So was Giannis even looking at that like maybe we should have just played that out for the rest of the season and maybe trade him at the end of the year? But I do understand like he's hurt all the time. But I don't think that's the move Giannis is looking for to really improve that team to take them over being better than the Celtics or who's number one? Cleveland right now.
Cleveland, yeah.
What move would need to be made is the question then, because I'm looking at it like, okay, you got
Sometimes
Dame.
no moves.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I don't think they need to make that move.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I think that's the biggest thing because they shook it up with Dame, right? And that hasn't really worked.
Yeah.
And what happened with Drew Holiday? He got bought out by Portland.
Yeah, that was rough.
Got bought in by the Celtics and won a championship.
I can tell you now, Milwaukee fans are still upset about Drew.
Because
They're
Milwaukee
upset.
needs a defensive point guard.
Yeah.
And they didn't get that with Dame. And Dame is still good, but he's not the Dame that was lighting it up in Portland. He's not. He's older now. He wasn't happy going to Milwaukee, so he was just there like he's playing.
Yeah.
He was buying a house in Miami.
Yeah.
He thought for sure the trade was going to Miami to play with Jimmy Butler and a Miami Heat team that had just went to the finals.
Yeah.
He thought he was going to be the piece to get Miami over the top to the finals. They didn't want to trade him to where he wanted to go to.
Yeah.
They traded him to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and he looked depressed all year last year. He's happier now, but he's not the same player that he was in Portland.
That was a domino
and
effect.
you got comments on the live stream that you're not watching.
I'm definitely not watching the live stream. I'm gonna go right now.
Milwaukee has to figure out exactly what they want to do. If they don't figure something out this year, if they're not able to make a run where they can advance at least a couple rounds. Dame had this situation when he was in Portland. They had all these supporting guys around him that it never panned out.
And Dame did the same thing, right? Where he was loyal to the team for a little too long. And I think
Forever.
Giannis could get into that same situation, and I don't think he wants to.
I don't think he stays packed. I think, but I do think also that Bobby Portis is a big piece of this whole thing, and again, they're not going to be in for a free fall because they've got a ton of talent.
Yeah.
But Bobby Portis is a big piece of them having a longer run, and that he's going to be fully rested by the time they get into the playoffs.
Yeah.
So that's only going to help them. Matchups are a big deal. If they fall into like 7 and then they have to play the Celtics in the first round, that's not great.
bad,
Yeah.
But if they're playing the Knicks or they're playing Indiana, you take your shot. I mean, I'd give them a shot against either.
I don't think they beat the Knicks.
I don't know if they do either. I'm saying you'd rather take.
But you'd
your
rather
shot.
play them first.
I want
Yeah.
them to beat the Knicks. I still don't believe in Jalen Brunson, but I would love for them to beat the Knicks, but it doesn't look like it. They're consistently been getting better and honestly just doing what they started off in the beginning of the season for. It's just kind of crazy.
Knicks cannot beat really good teams, though. They've got blown out by the Celtics.
Yeah.
They pretty much got blown out by the Lakers on their home court. I mean, these are home games, too. So against the Celtics, they're in the same position Lakers are. Lakers need someone to beat Denver, and New York needs somebody to beat Boston.
Yeah.
Yep.
And who knows? Maybe none of those teams are even going to match up against Cleveland because we don't know a lot about Cleveland and they haven't Cleveland could win a championship without LeBron.
Yeah.
Could you imagine Cleveland Lakers NBA Finals?
Yeah. That'd be insane.
Dude.
LeBron couldn't take that L though. He would have to win.
I don't know.
Mentality wise,
Cleveland,
as
this
a
was
GOAT,
for you too. Like who knows? That's his hometown, bro. He might
Throws the game.
He might throw the finals.
Oh my gosh! Do you have inside information you're telling us?
And then he signs with Cleveland next year.
Oh my goodness!
to end his career in his hometown.
And brings little baby Bronny with him.
Quamstradamus strikes again.
Nostradamus.
Wow.
All right, moving on. We're gonna get into another video. This is a little ridiculous. So we're gonna watch something. A lot of times players get their jerseys retired, and it's a really exciting moment for somebody that gets their jersey retired. And this is a college athlete. I don't even know his name, but Here's his jersey hanging in the rafters.
Park Center.
Very exciting moment.
Bruh.
It's upside down. Terrence Shannon Jr. is his name. You had one job, right? You have to. There's two ways that jersey can hang, right? And it should be right side up, not upside down.
I think
He smiled it off, but I mean, how would you feel? Like, that's a very important moment.
There's
in
only
your life.
one guy in charge of doing that. There's no one else is with him. Like, how does it look? Like, oh, it's upside down, dude. Nobody said anything.
No,
Like,
there was no backup.
Is it even? Nothing.
There's no one else with him. Nobody else saw that.
Yeah, that's
It's just
crazy.
the one guy, and he's sitting in the back, like in the dark, like oh man.
Or he has a D1 hater, and somebody
Something like that.
Somebody was like, "Hey,
Oh
you
my
should hang this
gosh.
upside down. I'll give you $100 to hang this upside down."
That's bad.
Yeah, I think that I would have understood if he crashed out. That's valid. He could have been very upset, but
Yeah, that would have been that would have been upsetting. All right, we have some dance moves. We watched the Super Bowl last week. Saw a really good halftime show. A lot of whites didn't like it, but we're gonna get into some dance moves on the street. The moonwalk is a hard walk to make, but he's gonna kind of teach you how to do it.
oh,
Simone.
don't play it again. Go ahead and pause it.
He was all right though. His foot got amputated, but he'll be fine.
He was right next to
his heart's
LeVar Ball in the hospital.
And then we have a remake of Kendrick's halftime show. So we're gonna play that right now.
You really about to do it?
40 acres in the mule. This is bigger than the
identical.
music.
You really about to do
This
it?
actually was probably his
But you can't fake
his
influence.
choreographer.
They get on it like that.
Hey, I'm tripping, I'm sliding, I'm riding through the back like boom. Must have on a beat, bro. Deep boat in the back. He a freak though, man down, call like Ember.
That's
Tell him
hip-hop.
breathe. Let them boys get across
Hip
and
hop.
walk around like these.
So I don't know if you guys have seen like the real video where she's like really teaching hip hop dancing, but people have too much time on the on their hands to post stuff like this and create this on the internet. It really got on beat. But I'm glad there's a lot of people out there with no job. Because they do a
So they
lot
can
of
do
stuff
stuff
for
like
likes,
that.
and it entertains us.
That's
We're
right.
sending these reels and memes to each other all day, every day.
Bring that to life. That's great. Thank you.
Yeah, some people,
Thank you for that.
That's what they do. Okay, last one I have. Oh, we're gonna get into. Real quick commercial break. Michael Michelle, who's usually on the show with us, could not be here today because there's a lot going on in her career as a power slapper, and it was just announced today that she is going to be matching against Paige Van Zandt. So we're going to play that right now. Former UFC fighter, former bare knuckles fighter.
Let's go, Michael.
She's been around violence her whole life. I don't know what that meant, but
That's crazy.
she will be back with us next Thursday to talk more about it. There's a video that we did. I was able to go to the PI with her and do behind the scenes of, her having a meeting with Power Slap at the UFC PI. So that was a lot of fun, and that video should be dropping tomorrow.
Hey, she tanked that slap. She ate that.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Happy for her. That's awesome.
So I think we are going to help her practice. So, Kels, if you want to be here next week, we need a face for her to slap. Would you be willing?
I get to slap her back?
You want to slap a woman on live stream?
Why you got to take it there, bro?
I
It's a
just
sport.
asked.
It's
I
a sport.
asked.
What happened to gender equality?
I asked.
Okay. I
Trump's
just
in
wanna make
office.
sure.
That got eliminated.
Oh, I just thought, equal rights and equal lefts.
His first reaction is, "Can I slap her?"
Yeah,
back?
that's wow.
Can I slap too?
Because I don't want to just sit here and take a whole bunch of power slaps. That's crazy.
Just one.
Just one
You wouldn't do one for the team?
for the team. If you, Quan, if you told me Kel, I need you to do this, I got you.
Okay.
Oh,
You can't record it though, and you're not gonna make me.
No,
go
we're
viral.
doing it on live stream.
Oh man,
he's like, nah, then no.
She's still a woman. I mean, she's 130 pounds.
it's crazy.
She's slapping another woman.
She's still a woman. Just stop it. I'm
All right, let's
I'm a beast of a man.
USA versus Canada, and we have the All-Star game this weekend too in the NBA. So we're gonna hear what PK Subban had to say, and we'll play a lot of this clip, and then we'll get your guys' thoughts on this. But he's talking about they eliminated the NHL All-Star Weekend to do the Four Nations face-off, and the championship is on right now. U.S.-Canada, it's 0-0 as we're speaking live right now.
Let's go.
First of all, before any scores happen, who do you think is going to win? This is the championship. I have USA.
I got USA as well.
They booed the national anthem, which is their future national anthem.
It's
Anyways,
for state.
here's PK Subban's thoughts on the NBA All-Star Weekend versus what the NHL is doing, and then I'll get your guys' thoughts.
Should do is, let's say, the world take on the American players in the NBA, kind of somewhat sort of what are you doing in the NHL? What do you think?
Well, listen, hockey's a different sport from the NBA. You can't compare the cultures because of the way the game is played. You can step on an NBA floor and go through the emotions. You can't do that in hockey. You can't. Like the culture of our sport, you have to play it with passion. You have to be willing to fight. You have to be willing to leave it on the ice. That's what fans are investing in. So for us, when we charge $1,500 for a ticket to come to fans know what they're getting.
And the players make a lot less money.
The best defenseman in the world, wasn't in the lineup for this game. This was the most viewed game that we've had in years. And you see it, it's because it's not just based on the skill and talent. It's based on the pride, honor, playing for the guy next to you. I got a question for the NBA players. What the hell are you playing for? What are you playing for? It's not about the money. You make all the money. What, you're injured? Well, there's a difference between being hurt and injured. Are you hurt or are you injured? There's a difference. In hockey, we play hurt. We play injured. That is the culture of the sport. It's always been that way. So you want to talk about the business, the CBA, fans get all of that. But what do fans resonate with? They resonate with what's real. You got to fight sometimes for your country. You got to compete. You got to go out there and leave it on the ice because those people are paying the price of admission. So fans know whether our stars are on the ice or not, they're getting their money's worth. The NBA has that issue that they got to work on. You got to create a better culture for your players. It starts with the leaders. This issue, there was no issue when Jordan was around. There was no issue when Kobe was around. There's no issue when Sidney Crosby's around. There's no issue when Wayne Gretzky was around because those are true leaders. They lead by example. Sidney Crosby, Hockey Canada, those players, both Canada and U.S., it was the players that did that for the Four Nations.
All right, Kels, let's start with you first.
He had me in the first half. I agree with a lot of what he's saying, but I don't know why he seems so passionately angry at the NBA. I think that there's a lot of hater opinion in there as well. But the main points that he's making are valid. I think that we've had a lot of discussion for a long time that the NBA is getting soft. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, that's what it is. The NBA is getting soft. It's not the same era. It's not the same how it's been where people just have the grit and the love of the game. And that's very, very true. I think for the most part, you have certain players who want to play. And the problem with them making as much money as they do is that once you get that much money, what's keeping you on the court, right? Yeah. And so his overall point is very, very valid. I do think that when you pay for a ticket, you should know who's playing. You shouldn't have to worry about if you're going to see your favorite player or not. All of those are just great points. I just think that there's more to it, right? The league caters to how soft it is more than the players do. I think that rule changes and things like that make it easier on the players. And for the sake of the era, if things are changing and making it easier, we can't knock the players for living it a little bit easier than they did in the past and making more money. You know what I mean? I think that that's a conversation with Adam Silver and how the league is ran more than the players themselves. It's hard to say that all these players don't love basketball and they don't have a love for the game just because, they like to sit out and try to have the longevity aspect of it as well.
LeBron sat out 2 hours before the All-Star game was happening. So I think part of that was kind of a shot at LeBron.
Yeah.
Because people are paying to see him play. You don't know how many more times you get to see him in the All-Star game. That might have been the last time.
Yeah,
we don't know that.
maybe.
Right? Adam Silver is a lot to blame. David Stern wouldn't be catering to the players as much as Adam Silver is. I think he's overdoing it. I think Adam Silver is messing up by, if something isn't like perfect one year, he tries to blow everything up, create new tournaments, doing all this new stuff that really is taking away from the actual game. The All-Star Game format was stupid. I didn't like the Rising Stars being in it. No. Have East versus West or US versus the world. Yeah. That's all I want to see. We don't need all this gimmicky stuff. Just do something to incentivize them to play harder. But there's been games in the 80s and 90s that were blowouts. They weren't all close games, but most of the time, the All-Star games were a lot more competitive. Yeah. And somewhere along the line, they became less competitive. So I do agree with that. But Kobe won an MVP in Vegas, and I think the West won by 30-something. That game was not a good game. If you're a Kobe fan, it was great to watch. Yeah. But it's not like, it's not LeBron's fault. Yeah. You can't blame everything on LeBron. Even though a lot of stuff LeBron did has affected the way players handle contracts, the way the CBA's been turned over, the way players have tried to take control of teams, which is a lot of the reason these new owners traded Luka, because they didn't want to pay him the Supermax. Yeah. A lot of different things factor in, but we talked about it on the show before Luka got traded. Yeah. 3 days before he got traded. We are not that interested in the NBA this season. I didn't understand why, because NBA has been my first love when it comes to sports forever, my whole life. Yeah. And once Luka got traded, it made it interesting again, right? So, but here's the thing. We're never interested in the actual games as much as we are the trades, the drama around the games. What can happen this summer? Well, where will Giannis go? What's going to happen in the playoffs? We don't really care about watching and sitting and watching the actual games, because a lot of the times they're not very entertaining. And we don't know who's playing and who's not. Yeah. With LeBron, he's in his 40s. He should not even be in the league right now. So whatever we get from him, I'm fine with. I'm not even mad at him right now. Yeah. If he sits out tonight on a back-to-back at the age of 40, makes fine. Sense. Who cares? It's a regular season against Portland. Even if they lose that game, well, LeBron should have played. I don't care. He's 40. We're getting more of LeBron than we thought we would, right? Yeah. We thought he'd be retired 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah. So don't blame it all on LeBron. I blame it on Adam Silver. I don't think he's been a great commissioner. I think he's catering too much to players. Yeah. And I think he's trying to drastically change things every year. The in-season tournament was cool last year. This year wasn't, because there was two bad teams, or two not loved teams. Yeah. Milwaukee. And I think Giannis saw that too, right? I'm with Milwaukee. I'm in the in-season tournament. If I had a New York jersey on, this would be blowing up right now. Yeah, sure. But no one really watched or went to that game for the championship. No. There's too much stuff going on. Yeah. Just make it normal again. But the players do have to step up too, bro. Like, we saw Jimmy Butler sit out almost all season because he wanted to get traded when he still had 2 years left on his contract. Yeah. So these guys are making millions, and you see some of the older players gripe about it, and you're like, yeah, they're just older. Like, you sound like the old man on the porch, but it's like, no, they played hard. They worked during lockout seasons to get the CBA to where it is now, and you guys aren't appreciating what you're getting, and you're getting paid crazy money to play a game.
There's a letdown with the NBA All-Star festivities. I think it's been like that for a few years. I have one logistic way to fix it for scheduling, is you put it in the week between the NFC and AFC championship game and the Super Bowl, because everybody's already going through withdrawals of no football anyway. Yeah. They're not adjusting yet to watching basketball.
That's Pro Bowl weekend too, and I don't know.
And no one watches the Pro Bowl.
But I don't know if NBA would do that to the NFL, even though NFL now jumped in on Christmas.
Their day.
So they might be able to now. But I mean,
what's good for one is good for the other, I think.
And the All-Star game's not halfway through the season like it used to be. Like, it used to legit be like 42, 43 games into the season. Yeah. And now there's only 20, 25 to 30 games left in the season.
But getting back to what you guys were originally touching on, you saw the Olympics this past summer. Mm-hmm. They were great. Mm-hmm. The basketball was amazing. Absolutely. Okay. You're telling me, with the majority of the presence of the international game, the presence of the international players that are in the NBA right now, that you could have an all-star, all-world team going up against Team USA. You're telling me that people wouldn't be hyped for that?
Yeah.
come on.
That's a good call. I think that's definitely more entertaining. So when you think about it like that, I really didn't even place the Olympics. Like you had the Team USA, and it was really like against Jokic. Team USA really against Wemby.
The Olympics
what I mean?
ridiculous.
But it was just so fun to watch. And now you have Team USA versus the rest of the world.
And one thing Adam Silver did say a few weeks ago that everyone laughed at, which I don't think could happen because of the CBA and because of records and because of money and TV money, is going down to 10-minute quarters.
Oh, yeah.
Because in the Olympics, what do you have? 10-minute quarters. It makes the game faster. It makes it more entertaining.
Yeah.
But the Olympic play was crazy, right? And you're right. You're playing against guys that look like stars that the dude for, I think, Spain or one of those teams that he's on the Sixers now.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember what team that was. Might have been France.
Yeah,
I can't remember. But anyways, and he's cool in the NBA, but like international play, it's a lot different. And I mean, we loved watching Olympics, right? So it's not like we don't like basketball. It's the NBA product. And so, yeah, something has to be done.
There's ways for them to tweak it to make it more interesting. Also, don't lean so much into making it like a comedy show.
Yeah.
How long was Kevin Hart on television this weekend for the NBA? I mean, I like Kevin Hart too. He's funny. Yeah. Do we have to have 3 hours of Kevin Hart coverage on an All-Star weekend?
He's not that funny. TNT has abused him and pushed him in our faces for so long.
I don't dislike Kevin Hart. I'm just saying.
I do. I don't. Here's the thing. He's not that funny anymore. He's not new. And TNT has had a love affair with him where they just keep him on every All-Star weekend where it's like, bro, you've been on for 12, 13 years now.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's not funny. And now they had him on as a predominant part of it.
Yeah.
A lot of
saying that Shaq looked like a porn director. And most of the All-Star weekend is kids in the crowd and kids watching the game. You can't talk about that stuff.
True.
Like what are you trying to promote? You know what I'm saying? Like that was that was just ignorant. And he wasn't funny. Like they kept having these breaks in between the games. If the game was ending, 40 points, bam, boom, get the next team out. 10-minute break, maybe. You know what I'm saying? They were taking like 30 minutes in between games.
The thing
I fell
is,
asleep and woke up and like, oh, there's still another game.
I don't know if Kels, I don't know if you felt like this, but the fact that they have the rising stars that are competing on the All-Star stage, it's like, well, they're coming up. They're the next generation of players. But why are they playing on Sunday for the All-Star game?
But this
like,
generation of players isn't even like, if you would have done that when LeBron and Carmelo and D Wade were in the Rising Stars,
that would have been
it's
something
different.
else.
Yeah.
But you have Dalton Connect. Dalton Connect might be the most popular name in this draft. Like I can't even name the first 5 players in the draft.
Yeah, not at all. Yeah, we don't have any like cream of the crop players anymore.
It's not Wemby coming in last year. He's a rookie, and we're going to see him in the future. We don't know if any of these people in the Rising Stars are ever going to be in a legit All-Star game.
Yeah.
So it was the wrong year to do that. If you're going to do that on a year where next year Cooper Flagg's coming in the league, right? And you have somebody that could be a potential perennial All-Star, but you're doing it with at a time that it's not good Rising Stars.
Is part of it for the marketing for them because TNT is losing the All-Star game.
TNT didn't care, and that's why it was such
and
trash.
and they just kind of wanted to make it a
party.
Let's just make it a party and let's make it fun and goofy and whatever.
Yeah.
And we don't really care about what we're doing because I think ESPN is going to have the All-Star game next year.
I'm not sure who gets it.
I'm not sure. It might be NBC.
Because I know NBC, Amazon, and ESPN are going to be having the NBA, so I don't know
Peacock
how the
is going to
structure
stream
is.
games. Yeah. Amazon will be streaming games
Which
pretty
is good.
regularly.
I hope we get the theme song back for NBA on NBC.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be cool. Peacock is going to have games. Actually, you're going to have more visibility.
Yeah.
I think for some of the other
Amazon
markets.
You're hitting the world a lot harder.
Sure.
Right? I mean, we've seen what the NFL did on Amazon, on Netflix on Christmas.
Yeah.
Like it broke records.
No, I'm saying for the markets. Like we don't see
the
the Charlottes and Memphis games as frequently as we would in the past. Sure. We might get to see them more frequently. So
yeah, well, with this whole conversation, we'll even watch the Charlotte games. There's a couple of Mellow fans out there, but
yeah, I mean that's the hard thing. I have League Pass and I don't even think I have it on. I have hockey on, I have us on, I have college basketball on, and the clock.
Yeah, I think the one thing that I will say though is I applaud them trying to find ways to shake it up because All-Star Weekend's been bad for a few years. You know what I mean? Not just one. It's been a few years. So I applaud them trying to shake it up. But what I really think is that they need incentive. They need something that's going to make them want to, perform.
For sure.
Honestly, like even All-Star MVPs don't mean anything. No,
it's like,
doesn't mean anything. It's like what am I playing for? I think they need incentive. Whether it be like that's honestly why
I blame that on the players because the All-Star MVP used to mean something, and they would get a car and stuff. Now these guys can afford 45 cars.
Yeah.
That you're going to try to give them. So it's like, what incentive can they give? But like, I think that's the problem. I think going back to PK. Where's the pride in the sport you play, in what you do for a living, in the league you're trying to keep building? Where's the player's pride into making that a global thing?
Maybe they can rework sponsorships and they can give them like a Lexus or a Mercedes or something, get a partnership with that instead of a Kia.
Yeah, because
the NBA players are going to drive Kias.
Yeah, Mac McClung.
Kia was the most stolen car in 2023.
Mac McClung might. That's it.
Yeah, he can't get out of his 10-day G League contract. He needs a Kia.
5 career games, 3 dunk championships.
But I mean, we've talked about that many times before. Like, I think all of the NBA All-Star Saturday festivities should just be with all the All-Stars that are there.
Yeah.
Like, if you're an All-Star, then you get to be in the dunk contest. And maybe bring in, like, other people. But I think having more than 4, like back in the day, back in the 80s and 90s, like, there'd be like 8 or 9 competitors, right?
Yeah.
And they would give them too much time, but it's like, give them a little less time. Have maybe longer rounds. I think they only do 2 dunks in the finals now instead of 3 or 4 like they did.
The problem with the dunk contest, though, is that everything's been done.
So you have really jumping over a Kia
you have
like
to have
that.
props and everything else. But didn't
Blake
Griffin
He
jump
jumped
over
over the hood.
Yeah.
And he was 7 feet tall. Mac McClung's 4'11". He jumped over the top
4'11"
of the Kia.
To
And
his
people are
point,
like,
though.
well, he pushes off these guys. Well, who cares?
That's irrelevant. It was definitely more impressive. It was more impressive, but it's still been done. You know what I mean? He was like, what can I do? And he was like, I just got to do this better than somebody else did it. Yeah. So I do think a big part of it is that we've seen a lot. But my whole thing is there's professional dunkers out there creating new dunks right now on the internet, on YouTube, and none of these NBA players are bold enough to try these things. And I think that's the biggest issue.
And some of these guys are 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
I mean
let's do tour.
So the guy that was throwing the ball up to most of them is Chase. I forgot his last name. No, it starts with an S.
Jay Schmerz.
We're Facebook friends. We had him on the show a long time ago, probably in the old building 6 or 7 years ago. But he's a former dunker, right? So there's a whole dunk community where they have dunk competitions, which are way better than NBA dunk contests.
Yeah.
So get more of them involved.
Yeah.
Maybe even have the NBA go against them because that would boost up your pride level of, I got to be better at this than losing to a 6'2" white dude.
The NBA would lose, though. Have you seen some of these dunks?
Which is fine. Yeah. I mean, the dunks are crazy.
Yeah.
But have them represent one of the NBA players where they're dunking together. I mean, it's just something. But have more of the All-Stars involved in the All-Star festivities. The skills challenge is so stupid.
Yeah.
What skill is that for an NBA player? They're doing like kindergarten skill challenges.
They're doing their practice.
Do a chest pass into the hoop.
Yeah.
Dribble around these fake cones. You know what I'm saying? Like,
basics.
it's so stupid. The
Yeah.
skills challenge doesn't need to be there.
They're doing field day.
Do a 2-on-2 game up to 10.
Yeah.
Do something.
A lot of conversation around the 101. Since,
1-on-1 would be dope too.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
I would love to watch Kyrie Cook in a 101. I think he's
Have a 1-on-1 up to 10. Have a quick 1-on-1
What was the
tournament. Like there's so many
Unrivaled
other things
thing?
you could do.
Yeah, the
that
unrivaled
one-on-one.
And it was cool.
She won
Like,
1.5 billion.
Yeah.
Low key, the Unrivaled. I haven't watched a lot, but like 3-on-3 full court, which is not like a full court. I don't think like full size full court, but
it's
I like it
the
better
size,
than the big 3 where it's only a half court.
Yeah, true.
I actually really like that game, and I think they're onto something. And I think you could see the NBA maybe implementing some of that stuff.
The conversation
But
is
there's a lot
players.
that could be changed. That I just think they're doing gimmicky stuff instead of stuff that's sustainable.
Yeah.
72 feet long is the unrivaled court.
Yeah.
And how long is the regular? 96?
94.
94.
Yeah, I think that a lot of these players and the conversations that they're having now are that they don't want to get exposed. They don't want to realize that they don't want people to realize that they're not as good at certain things as we know they're not, or as real basketball fans know they're not. But they don't want to, I mean, you saw a lot of people in that Unrivaled tournament, especially the one-on-one, like losing to players that they shouldn't have lost to, and they don't want that embarrassment factor. But again, that's where you come back to the pride of the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
it's the pride, and it'll make you compete more.
Absolutely.
And with the dunk contest, I'm sick of seeing somebody like Mac McClung win, right?
Yeah.
And NBA players like, yo, I might have to jump in it next year. You guys have been doing that for 15 years, and you never jump in it.
There's always a tweet
LeBron
like
started that, right? Like when Dwight Howard won. I'm preliminary, couldn't even say the word, putting my name in next year and never did it, right?
Yeah.
And now we see Ja Morant and Giannis saying they might enter. It's like, first of all, I couldn't see Giannis in a dunk contest. Ja Morant? Maybe, but like, does he have the lift he had 3 years ago? I don't think he does.
Not at all.
Next year in
what's he gonna do,
November,
bring
he'll
a gun?
opt out.
Yeah.
What's he going to do, bring a gun and like aim it at the crowd?
He can be in the 3-point shootout.
Yeah.
His own kind
Every
of
time
shootout.
someone shoots, he shoots the ball. Bing, bing, bing. But I don't know, man. I mean, and the 3-point contest is cool, but they've made that gimmicky with like different balls. Like, just keep it what it was. You don't have to, because then it changes like the record and different things like that.
Yeah.
Last year they had the Starry Court where the whole court was bright green.
Yeah.
And everyone's glowing because of their sponsor.
Yeah.
It's just dumb. Like Starry. Who drinks Starry? Nobody does. Come on, Adam Silver. Anyways.
Come on, Adam. Step up.
Yeah, come on, Adam. Joanna says she blames all of it on me.
Yeah.
And then she deleted that. She didn't send the comment. She texted me the comment, but only text a
No, I
hand.
blame Quan too.
Yeah.
Joanna with 5 last names. All right, what else we got? Anything else before we wrap up? Any other thoughts?
I wanted to ask you guys: do you think that the WNBA is gonna increase in popularity this season, or do you think it's gonna kind of, I don't know, kind of come back down to earth?
I think it definitely is. I think
You think it matches the popularity?
I think it boosts up a little bit. I think Unrivaled might be helping that a little bit. More women are being marketable. And I think that's what's hurt the WNBA. Not the women's fault. I think they haven't marketed them the right way. I think them seeing how you can market Caitlin Clark, you're doing that with other people. Asia Wilson's getting a lot more marketing than she has in the past.
Big time.
You have Paige Becker's coming into the WNBA.
Yep.
Which is another great player that now you have to look at her as a rookie and see what she's going to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have Juju coming in a couple years, who's going to take things to a new level. Like, these women are better than they've been.
That momentum from the tournament last year was ridiculous.
Yeah. And I think especially if we do get a good women's tournament, I was more interested in watching the women's tournament last year than the men's.
The women's tournament was really good last year.
It was.
Really
they were competing though. They
the
don't have
last
the
2
bags that the
seasons,
men's.
it's been pretty good.
Yeah, personally, they lost me as a viewer, so that's one viewer that they lost.
Why?
Because they
like
traded
women.
Kelsey Plum.
Oh.
So that's why.
Well, if she didn't miss so many layups, they wouldn't have traded her.
That's
She
crazy.
was playing crazy last year, bro.
What?
She was playing crazy last year. She was so inconsistent last year.
Okay.
You know
she's
who
still
she-
that one player that does everything. She's that player that
Who did trade her for, though?
I
A
know
bum? Or
no.
someone way better than her?
way better than her. I don't know about way better.
If you can
better
get Jewel
scorer.
Lloyd, Jewel Lloyd's really good. And I miss Kelsey. She's definitely my favorite player to look at on the court.
Do you think that's what I meant? That's not what I meant. She's a
I'm saying
dog.
for me.
Oh, okay.
She's a good player,
She's
but
also easy on the eyes, but she's a dog. Like
she was
has a fight
very
in her.
inconsistent last year. I'm not sure if that's because of the Olympic break, but there was a lot of games I went to, and I'm just like, yo, you're missing layups like wide open, and I think that hurt them. And with New York being as stacked as they are, bro, you had to do something.
That's true.
And they wouldn't have traded her for anyone other than someone like Jewel Lloyd, though.
Yeah.
If you have a chance to get Jewel Lloyd, you have to make that trade. But here's the thing. LA is an up-and-coming team. Cameron Brinks missed most of last season, her rookie year, but she was playing really well before that. They started playing really, really well after, even when she went out. There was a lot good going on there. Kelsey Plum going there. She looks happy. It's LA. It's not like she got traded to Wisconsin.
That's true.
She went to LA. She looks happy. She's going to make that team so much better. We play them a lot.
Yeah, that's true.
So there's going to be a rivalry there, right? Her coming back, Jewel Lloyd being on the team. Is she going to try to light her up at the point guard spot? She'll get a good ovation her first game back in Vegas.
sure.
We all love Kelsey Plum.
Yeah.
No one had a problem with her at all.
Jewel Lloyd is a better player.
Jewel Lloyd's amazing. I mean, she's one of the top. I think she's a top 5 player in the WNBA.
Her and Wilson already played together too, right? Didn't they play together in college or something like that?
I'm not sure.
I read that.
I'm not sure.
Well, Team USA, they've played together. But
Yeah, I
don't
mean,
know
she
if
was
they
playing
played.
really good on Team USA too.
Yeah.
Jewel Lloyd played at Notre Dame. I don't know.
Did Lloyd play at Notre Dame?
Jewel Lloyd played
Lloyd,
at Notre
okay.
Dame. Yeah.
Asia played at South Carolina.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And Kelsey was at Washington.
Yeah. She's a Husky.
She's a Husky.
All right.
Yeah. But
I'm excited.
so
for
you're not
the
going to
NBA.
watch it all? You're not going to go to a game?
Honestly, I've had some fun in some Aces games. It'd have to be a reason to go.
I still haven't
It'd have
been.
to be. You haven't been?
I haven't been to an Aces game.
Dude, okay, we're going to an Aces game.
Okay.
We'll go to opening night.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tom Brady will be there, so you get to see Tom Brady.
Oh, we gonna sit with him?
I saw D Wade at Aces game. That was fun.
And that's the thing. There's a lot of people, that go. Like all of Gil's arenas, people were there, but not Gil.
Yeah.
The last game I went to.
No,
But there's always
I'm
people
down.
there.
I'll
Like
go.
it's
For sure.
Yeah, it's definitely fun to watch. It's
It's one of those environment
quick.
things. It's quick and it's fun. A lot of energy in the room. You know what I mean? Even though there's a lot of open seats, there's a lot of energy for the seats that are filled.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's fun.
I went to a Chicago game, so I got to see Angel Reese miss a lot of layups and get some rebounds. So that was fun.
They're killing her on the internet right
You heard
now.
about
The
that with
memes
Lisa
are
Leslie.
nuts.
What's that?
Lisa Leslie telling her
Oh yeah.
Angel Reese is picking her brain, like, how could I improve? And you're an all-time player. It's like looking up to her like as an idol type of thing. Lisa Leslie's like, you gotta learn to shoot free throws. I was like, oh my gosh, okay, wow. Next question. Like, let's move on.
Bro, she's shooting 38 from the field.
Yeah.
And she shoots under the basket the whole time.
Yeah.
She shoots 18% from 3.
Yeah. Yeah, it's terrible.
I know we could all shoot better than 18%.
I
from
think
the 3.
Angel Reese will be much improved this season.
She has to with all the slack and backlash she got. And she didn't play well in the tournament either. In that little 3-on-3 tournament, she didn't play well there either.
She's gonna be motivated.
But she's getting so much heat right now. Did you see Kevin Love's tweet?
Because she promotes herself so much
take
too.
it
So
under.
Hilarious.
if you're gonna promote yourself that much, you have to show out, right?
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
you have to make your game count. If not, then you just look like a joke. I mean, that's with all athletes, right? If you're gonna talk that mess, you better back it
Yeah,
up.
100%. Yeah, and she's not backing it up. So I think that a lot of people are still rooting for her, and I think that hopefully she's the type of player that listens to all the negativity, but uses it as fuel. Doesn't let her like eat her up, but like, okay, I got to be better in these areas because she's getting it bad on the internet.
One of her biggest problems is she was trying to compete with Caitlin Clark as being like the 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Like the Bird and Magic coming into the WNBA from women's college basketball, and not taking anything away from her because I think Angel Reese is a great player. She's not close to being what Caitlin Clark is or is going to be in this league.
Yeah.
So she needs to play her role, know who she is,
and
she can be great at the player she is.
Right.
She's a very good rebounder.
Yeah.
If you're rebounding the ball and putting it up and making the first layup, and you're up to 55% instead of 38, guess what? People aren't going to talk anymore.
Nope.
True.
You could shut everything down this coming year. But if you're more worried about your internet presence, which the bad thing with the WNBA is you can make a lot more money doing OnlyFans in 3 months than you can 5 years in the WNBA.
Good for
So
them.
that's the hard thing. Like, can the WNBA start finding some more money to pay these women?
Yeah.
So they don't have to do all these other leagues and do other things.
They're getting money from the TV deal, right? I mean,
they definitely are getting a new TV deal, so that's going to help.
I mean, if Angel Reese shot better than 18% from 3, that would help a little bit too. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
That'd be
you
great.
have to
Starts
work on your shot. Your free throw.
Starts there.
What's she at the free throw line? Like, she's like 50-something from the free throw line.
50
So,
is crazy.
Yeah, that's
she's 18 from 3. I think she's like 70 something from free throw.
but she's 38 from
70.
layups.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. And I know Chicago made some moves too, so they're going to be better. You're going to see some of these teams with young players be better. Indiana, I think, overachieved last year. Did better than most people thought they were going to do.
Yeah.
So I'm entertained by the WNBA. I'm excited. It's a short season, so it makes every game count, and I think that matters.
For sure.
So much room for improvement. Yeah, she's 73 from free throw line.
Okay, that's not bad. I mean, but still, if you're going to be bad everywhere else, you should be at 80, 85.
I'm down to
39
go to
from
a
the
game,
field.
though. You guys want to go? We'll go.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah,
for sure.
We'll get some people together.
Yeah.
Have
Be a good time.
Unnamed Sports Show moment at WNBA. All right, folks, we are out. Let them know where they can find you.
And Quan calls me Kels, but you could see on the tag there is Cope Does Damage on Instagram. Yeah, man, that's really all I'm at Instagram. But you can catch me here. You can catch me on the Gorilla Cross Speak Life show. So I'm always there on Tuesday nights. But yeah, out.
Yeah, Frank.
Into the West Comics will be on in an hour.
Yeah, check them out. 1 hour on YouTube. Just look up Into the West Comics. And you might hear my voice in the background. Frank gets mad when I talk on their show.
No, not at all.
He gets so mad. But find me at Quan59 on all social media and follow at Unnamed Sports Show on Instagram and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Unnamed Sports Show Podcast. And we will see you guys on Monday.
Subscribe. All my friends that's watching, subscribe.
Yeah, go subscribe.
Please. Every single friend.
All of them.
Let's go over the 1100.
I'll call you guys later.
Yeah, if we don't have 11:02. Goal! U.S. scored.
There you go. Tie game.
Be in there.